Hi everyone and welcome to Inderes TV. Today we're going to talk about Kempower here with Analyst Pauli Lohi. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. This is actually one that came as a request from our listeners and viewers.
Yeah, we have got also some interest from our international fans, if we can say like that.
Yeah, they want to know more about Kempower, and it's an interesting company, got listed last year.
Yes.
They
manufacture fast charging technology for electrical vehicles, and they listed last year in December. So they have a relatively new company in stock exchange, and they have a strong growth ambitions. They have a long history actually, even though they are quite new company, because Kempi Oy, a Finnish company that manufactures welding machinery, has been developing this direct current technology for decades already. And then already in the 90s they tried to find some new commercial uses for this technology, but now along with the electrical transportation, the opportunity came up, and they founded Kempower in 2017, and they can utilize the technological know-how from Kempi Oy. And it's not just the technology, but they have also got like a kickstart, because they have been able to use Kempi Oy's supply chain and software cloud systems. So there's been a lot
of synergies there.
Yeah, lots of synergies, and they have been very fast in the getting the products to the market and gaining market shares. Last years. Yeah.
So a kickstart to the journey as a listed company. But who are the customers for this?
So Kempower's customers, they are not retail customers. Normal people can't buy these systems to their homes because these fast charging devices require high power, which is never installed in normal homes. But these are used in commercial purposes. There is charging point operators, which are the most important one. It includes like for example retail stores or charging point networks such as Recharge or Osprey Charging, which have these charging points around the major highways. Then there is commercial vehicle fleet operators such as bus companies. Nobina, for example, in Sweden is a big one. And then there is original equipment manufacturers, for example, Epiroc or Scania, who develop electrical vehicles, the like heavy vehicles for different purposes, but they also want to provide these charging devices with them. So Kempower sells the devices with their logos, and they can.
So they sell them to their customers as well. So it kind of a distribute. Okay, interesting. So a lot of fields there.
Yes, and their like main markets include Europe and North America, and these are the markets where Kempower wants to have their own distribution, so that they have their own personnel in contact with the clients. But then in other market areas, Kempower relies on the distribution network and partners.
Okay, so this is a technically more advanced product than the competitor's product.
Yeah, exactly. The three main things which differ from the competition are modularity, scalability, and dynamic charging. So if you talk about Kempower's main product, which includes several satellite units and then one power unit. So in traditionally there has been these all have been integrated so that there is one power unit, and it includes probably two charging plugs which you can stick to your car. But in Kempower system there is one power unit and a higher number of satellites which can be placed far from the power unit itself. So you can build bigger systems which are more efficient, and this has modular structure. So if you want to increase the power in the power unit or the number of satellites, you can do that. So the customers can start with a smaller investment and then grow their investment over time when they see the demand go up.
So that's kind of a scalability possibility within that you can grow within the existing customers.
Yes, exactly.
And also kind of a lower threshold for customers to start, because it's possible to start smaller.
Yes, and also the system has dynamic charging.
And what does that mean?
It means that the one power unit can charge 8 cars simultaneously.
Yeah.
And it can split the power between these cars in an efficient and intelligent way, so that it detects how much power each car needs, and it can then distribute the power based on need. And this leads in very high utilization of the power unit, and you don't need to install such a huge maximum power into your charging point, but you can install this one unit which can split up the power.
And it's kind of distributing it efficiently.
Yeah, and it makes the system much more cost efficient compared to these traditional systems where you have to build a huge amount of power in order to serve several cars at the same time. And also the charging point operators, they pay a significant payment to the electric company which provides the power lines. And the higher the maximum power, the higher the payment. But with Kempower system, you can
it's a smart way of measuring.
Yeah. You can make a good system with lower maximum power.
Okay, so there's a constant flow of smart flow of energy.
Yeah. And the competition, of course, includes large players too, who are trying to develop their products and make these same features into their products. I think there's some 10 to 20 competitors in this market, fast charging market, and the most significant ones are like ABB, Tritium, Siemens. Also Tesla is like indirect competitor, even though they don't sell their products to other companies, but they still in the future probably will serve also other car users than Tesla owners.
But what about this cloud system? Is this something optional, or is it something giving more value to the customers? Because I didn't really get that part.
Yeah. So Kempower's sales consist mainly of hardware sales, but there's also a small like software component, and the customers can choose whether they want to pay for the cloud system. But my perception is that almost everyone is taking the cloud system, because it's very useful to see who are charging with your devices, and what you can track their experiences and traffic in your site. So it's very useful data for the customer, but it also is useful data for Kempower, because they can develop their products, and if they see that they see which car it was that charged with their device, and they can develop the experiences so that
based on the data they are getting from the cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, would you say that that is something that is making this product better than the competitors as well with this special feature, or is it the innovation as a whole?
Well, I have understood that this is a very good system because it also has been like inherited from Kempower, and it has been developed for a long time. So there has been lots of time to develop that and make it good, and lots of experience behind it. But of course, also the other competitors have their own systems. So I think that the like technical features like dynamic charging, that's the main difference between Kempower's.
Yeah, and that's
products.
the critical success factor.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does the market for this type of innovation and devices look like? It's something for the future, definitely.
Yeah, it's growing fast, so it's actually hard to say what's the size of the market right now. But according to consultant report by Boston Consulting Group, they expect the market to grow to 4 billion euros by 2030 in Europe and North America in total, and it was 600 million euros in 2020. So.
And that was 2020.
Yeah, that was 2020, but
Yeah.
it's still a fraction about the potential in like 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's growing fast, like 20% a year or something over this decade, and the growth is naturally driven by the growing number of electrical vehicles in the streets and
This is something they're also driven by political influence
of course.
and regulations and stuff. And
regulators are trying to reduce the emissions of transportation, and they are setting targets for the car manufacturers to reduce the emissions of the cars, which means that over time, basically in Europe, the sales of combustion engine vehicles will stop at some point, and that drives the electrification of the transportation. And of course, charging point operators, they want to build their networks like in the early phase and cement their market shares. So I think that Kempower's customers want to be like they do front-loaded investments in this area, and of course the government subsidies are also one driver, that the governments want the infrastructure built up fast so that people start to feel that it's fine to drive an EV. You can charge it in many places and so on. So it's kind of this kind of egg chicken.
It really boosts the market.
Yeah.
So Kempower has a strategy with it's kind of twofold, and I really like the way. Could you describe the strategy?
Yes.
For growth.
So their strategy is split into expansion strategy and then innovation strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the expansion one is kind of more concretic in the next few years, in a sense that Kempower, they are a relatively new company, and they started selling these products just few years ago. So their distribution networks are not yet at same level than big competitors like ABB or Tritium. So they are trying to expand into new markets inside Europe. They have been doing that already from last year, and they also plan to do that in US by the end of next year.
Mm-hmm.
And the expansion is well underway in Europe, and the growth numbers are high currently. So it's doing pretty well in that side.
Yeah, and the US market, what would you say? It's on the map, and what do you say about the potential?
Well, US is they are still in the early phase of the EV adoption, so that that market isn't yet as big as Europe's. So Kempower's original target was to establish operations in the US by end of 25, but now they decided to go there few years earlier than they thought like 1 year ago. So it stems from accelerated growth in the US market, that EVs have sold well this year. Also, the government is giving big subsidies to the new charging points. And
is that for the whole country, or was it specifically in California, or how was it?
Well, California has been already kind of early adapter, but the Biden administration's incentive package is for the whole country, so that will
boost the market in the whole country.
Yeah, a lot.
Okay, so a lot of potential there.
Yes, exactly. And I think that Kempower has already proven that their products are very good and the technology is very competitive. So I believe that they can get also, the sales will kick off well also in the US. Then they have actually got some orders even before they have their own like manufacturing there or distribution network. So it seems good.
Yeah, sounds promising. Yeah.
Maybe about the innovation strategy, I could
yes, please.
just cover that briefly. Of course, this kind of technology companies want to develop new products and make them more competitive. So Kempower has hired a lot research and development personnel, and they want to develop new features to the products to make them, to keep them competitive, and also to make the manufacturing process more cost efficient. So I believe in the future that will the significance of cost efficient production will increase.
Now let's move over to valuation, because I think it's quite juicy.
Yeah.
Or not quite, it's juicy, and your recommendation is how do you justify accumulation at this point? I see the potential, but I would like you to elaborate a bit more.
Yeah, I understand that the valuation is kind of high, and actually all the players in the industry have a pretty high valuation multiples. And they are valued between 5 to 10 times their sales, which is quite high for hardware basically hardware manufacturers. But the thing is that this is still a pretty high technology, and there is not so many big players in this area. So it's not so fiercely competed than, for example, the slow chargers, which is the other segment in EV charging. And then the EV market, it is growing fast. Well, when I talked about the market growth estimates, I referred that the market could have a 4 billion valuation, 4 billion size in 2030. But even in that phase, the share of electrical vehicles will be only 11% in Europe. So the market probably has lots of growth potential even after this decade. So I think the market is looking forward and expecting strong growth numbers to offset the high valuations today. Well, if we talk about Kempower's valuation specifically, they are more profitable than their big competitors, which is actually pretty nice. That as a small company they have very high gross margins, and they are already break even or even have positive EBIT this year. So that's something that the competitors, at least that I know, they don't have it. So they are doing good. Also, I believe that Kempower is likely to exceed their financial targets. They target for 200 million euro sales and 10% EBIT by 2025 to 27. So I think that could happen already in 24 or even 23. So they are developing better than they actually have expected when they listed, and they could even increase their targets at some point. That's my expectation. Of course, if that doesn't happen, then I think there could be even room for decline in the share price because the valuation is so high currently. But I believe that they will increase their financial targets, midterm targets.
Yeah, but that's a good.
A good trigger for the share.
Yes. Yeah. Now I understand it better now.
Yeah.
But now we have been listing potential and see the potential and the sovereignty in the product. But what about risks? I mean, you can't be blind for it. We have energy crisis and we have component shortage, and they cannot go unaffected. How do you see it?
Well, I think that in the short term, the demand is likely to stay high. People are actually the high oil prices are driving people to EVs, and that's one reason why the US market has been developing so well this year. Of course, there's a risk that the capacity of battery production becomes a bottleneck for the EV growth. So
that as well.
That could also affect to charging system demand. But otherwise, I expect the demand to stay good and grow. But then in the supply side, the component shortage is of course a risk for Kempower. They have been trying to build inventories of components so that they could deliver, and so far they have been successful.
Okay, that sounds promising as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pauli Lohi, for all these comments. And extended report on the company is also published.
Yes. Thank you, Isa.
Thank you.
It's there in English, the extensive report of Kempower. You can find it from our website.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.